And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white people the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views.
The W nationalists is on a rampage. With all the stuff that's going on across America with Donald Trump being the president now, a lot of W nationalists feel emboldened to come out from under their rocks and spew their rhetoric. And one of these people was Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has Jason Whitlock in his crosshairs. He's going in on Jason Whitlock. And Jason Whitlock deserves this because he spent a lifetime just banging on the black community. Anything negative about the black, he talks nothing positive about the black community, ever. With all his years of journalism, all he does is look at the underbelly of our culture and gets on a stage with them W folks and talk down on our community. He's become a spokesman for them, where if they say it, it sounds racist, but if he says it, it sounds normal. Well, the W man has been on to this for a while. And one of these guys is Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has called him a token Negro. He's a token guy because he's able to come on here and espouse the things that he says. And if Nick was to do it, he would get fired. So he really called Jason Whitlock out and put Jason Whitlock in his place. And it's funny how when Jason Whitlock is attacked by somebody that's black, he says that he's such into this Bible, but he doesn't go Bible. He goes scorched earth. He will make videos, 1,000 videos a day, disrespecting somebody that's black, right? But when Nick Fuentes came at him, he went right to the Bible. He was, I'm all with Christian values. And he was very careful in what he say because he didn't want to alienate his fan base. Because when you read the comments, a lot of people that comment agree with Nick Fuentes about Jason Fatlock, right? He looked like he was real hungry too. So let's look at what Nick Fuentes said first, and then we'll come back to Jason Fatlock.
And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views. That's why you get paid. And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born. I was born white, so there's a limit on what I can say. There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of ideas. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows. And everybody's sick of it, especially in the conservative space, have had it easy. It is, and I don't doubt that he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's genuine. But you are playing by a different set of rules, pal. You have training wheels on. You think you've earned it? Everything you have. Take a look around at your studio, your contract, your employees. If you said the stuff that you said as a person, you would be gone. And everybody knows that. You're on Blaze hosting E. Michael Jones talking about the thing because if you weren't, you would have been fired like Elijah Schaffer. You would have been fired like everybody knows that. Take a good look at everything around you because you did not compete to get that. You got it because people feel sorry. People don't want to be called racist. They feel sorry. They need them to give them credibility. And if you can't see that, then you're just as ignorant as BLM. If you can't see that, if you can't be honest with yourself about that, you're just as marchers. As a matter of fact, you the marchers. Just another baby. And you know what? I have no hatred. I really don't. I'm a little bit frustrated with the fact that people are going to challenge my credibility based on what I say, knowing what I've sacrificed, what has happened to me, what has happened to my family. And I'm not trying to play the world's smallest violin, but my sacrifice has been considerable. I have had a considerably more difficult go than almost anybody because I was willing to tell the truth before it's fashionable about race, about globalization, about a wide variety of subjects. Ever since I was 18 years old, I have been censored. I have been financially blacklisted, had to endure financial hardship. I've been targeted. My family's been targeted. So for somebody to come and challenge my credibility or whether I'm being honest, it's totally outrageous. I have no hatred in my heart for people. I have no hatred in my heart for anybody, for that matter, and not for a group based on their race. And I have friends from all different races. It's not hatred. We can't play that card all the time and racism every single time. With that being said, and it's important to clarify that because you don't want to be typecast as the that's trying to gin up. I'm not trying to gin up racial resentment. I'm really not. I'm trying to tell you how I feel. And I'm trying to tell you the truth. And here's the truth of the matter. Are just done. We're done with the excuses. We're done with guilt. We are done with crybaby, ethnic narcissist people that cannot handle an adult conversation about race. We're done. We pay up in property taxes not to live near these people. We work hard. We pay our taxes. We go to work. We work our fingers to the bone to create a good quality of life for ourselves and for our families. And it has been ceaselessly sabotaged for decades by these animals. And by that, I don't mean I mean these predators. I mean these opportunists. I mean these adolescents. Where are the parents? Where's the community now? Where are they? I'm talking about these young adolescent men that film themselves running over a physics professor on his bike in New Mexico, laughing. And I'm talking about the young break into 20 businesses in Downers Grove overnight and loot the cash registers. I'm talking about the teen takeovers, the gangbangers. We don't want to live near this stuff anymore. And we all know what's going on. We all know who's doing it. We all know what it is. And we're sick and tired of black people not being able to be honest about it, not being able to take any responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. It's always his fault. It's racism, it's poverty, it's the culture, it's the New Deal, the Great Society, it's Lyndon Johnson, it's the Democrats. You know what? No, I think it's you. I think it's just you.
So, Nick Fuentes is very polarizing. He likes to say stuff to shake things up. He comes in, he says a whole bunch of racist rhetoric, right? He builds, and he's able to build an audience because there's still a lot of Americans that think this way. We have a hot topic going on now with the young 17-year-old black boy, Carmelo Anthony, where he's being charged with murder of unaliving a white 17-year-old kid in Eric Metcalf, right? So now the country is in a big racial divide. So Nick Fuentes wait for this to happen to go full steam ahead. Right? Full steam ahead of Jason Fatlock. And Jason Fatlock saw this, and now he's really ducking for cover, and he was trying to find a way where he can respond, but he can respond as respectful as possible. Let's listen to Jason Fatlock. We'll come right back.
I'm glad I remembered that clip because there's a couple things going on here. There's jealousy, there is some sort of belief that I'm immune to the consequences of my journalistic standards, of my approach to journalism. How dare you interview E. Michael Jones and, if you were white, you would have been fired. And he's comparing me to Elijah Schaffer. I've had Elijah Schaffer on this show years ago when he worked at The Blaze. And when you are 57, 56 at that time, or when you start here at age 52, 53, when you have put together, when God has put together for you the journalistic career that I've put together, and I'm sorry, that God has put together for me. And I say that in all sincerity. That the things that I accomplish as a journalist, and they're on record, there's no question about it, that God allowed me to be one of the best sports journalists, and this will be offensive to the people that hate me, but it's just reality, in American history. Accomplished some things, wrote stories that major national impact, time after time after time again, exposed truths that no one else was going to expose. And I'm in my 50s, and he's comparing me to a child who was at the beginning of his career in the media, and expects that a child in this profession should be treated like a decorated military veteran in this profession. That me and Elijah Schaffer should be treated the same. That's a level of privilege that they want that perhaps is irrational. And you know, the assertion that, you know, I've been given everything, oh boy, that's quite a stretch. But he can have that narrative. Doesn't bother. I don't want to remotely sound defensive about it. But the one thing I do want to answer to is like this thought that I'm here to confer dignity on white conservatives. I'm here to defend Christian values. I'm here to defend anyone that stands on Christian values. And I don't want Christian values demonized as racist. And so anybody that is standing on the truths, the historical account in this Bible, and stands on that truth firmly and points back to this Bible and his word and his ways. And I've watched the culture try to demonize people standing on this word and this truth. And they're trying to cleverly paint it as racist and only white conservatives do this or do that, or white evangelicals, or Uncle Tom black people. Yeah, I want to confer dignity to God's truth. And I don't want it smeared and promoted as racist or harmful for black people. And that's what they've been doing. Hey, if you follow the Bible, black people, that's going to harm you. And I am here to object to that. And I will defend anybody that I believe is following this Bible. And I will call out anybody that's pretending to follow the Bible while pointing people straight to hell.
Whitlock is the biggest hypocrite in America. Everybody knows that he's grifting. Now, he says he has conservative values, right? Nobody was more conservative than Big Mama in the black community. I don't have to be conservative and be over there with the W man talking down on my own community where they know that I'm a fraud. He said, Nick Fuentes said, this is how you get paid. The W community already knows this. He's one mistake away. The first time he says something that they disagree with, that whole community will turn their back on him. The whole community. They'll turn their back on him. We see what they did to ABL, Anthony Bryan Logan. Anthony Bryan Logan had a disagreement with the way, the situation with Carmelo Anthony and the young guy Metcalf, and now his whole fan base is decimating him right now. They calling him a monkey. They telling him to go back to Africa. They telling him that he need to go to sleep. Maybe he didn't get enough sleep. They can't believe that he's taking a black person's side. Because when you're over there with that conservative view with the W people, you have to say everything that they want you to say. And you got one time to mess up. So now Jason Fatlock is being exposed the same way a pork ham hock is. He's being exposed, right? Because people are on to him and they're tired of it. And with Donald Trump being in office, a lot of these W nationalists, they don't need a Jason Fatlock. They don't need Fatlock to be a spokesman for them. They can speak for themselves. And this is what they're telling Fatlock. We don't need you. Go back over there with your people. And that's what they're saying. So Fatlock, he's made a career off of this, but his days are numbered. His days are numbered. Because once those floodgates is open, they don't never close. And he says that He's with Christian values. But if you with Christian values, how come every time you open your mouth, you always denigrating the black community? So nobody in no other communities does anything that's diametrically opposed to Christian values? What about these people running the government, the structures? How come you never talk about them? You never say anything to ruffle the feathers of W folks. Never. You always kissing their boots. Always. And this is, man, this is crazy, man. Like the way you disrespected Kobe Bryant, the way you disrespect so many black folks. But when Nick Fuentes came at you full steam ahead, you ran right to the Bible and said that I try to operate through Christian values. No, you don't. No, you don't. You slander, backbite. You do all kinds of stuff to fellow saints. No, you don't. And you do it for your own financial gain. So you definitely ain't carrying on the Christian values. But Nick Fuentes came at him. The W nationalists is on the prowl right now. And their crosshairs is Jason Fatlock. So as more of this come out, I'll talk more about this, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.